In the memories of the southern countryside, the memory of the water taro plant has accompanied many families as a dish that went through the difficult subsidy period. In terms of appearance, the sweet taro plant, often used to stir-fry with fat to eat with rice, and the water taro plant are 90% similar. The only difference is that the sweet taro has a purple dot right at the leaf stem while the water taro does not, and people only grow sweet taro, no one ever grows water taro. The water taro plant was so neglected that it secretly grew in clumps mixed with the sweet taro in the corner of the garden. And people immediately cut it off along the banks of the ditches to avoid it from crossbreeding with the proud sweet taro plant. If you accidentally eat the water taro, you will be hospitalized because its sap causes severe itching and burning in the throat. Therefore, this type of taro also has another name, itchy taro. During the subsidy period, raising a few pigs in a barn to improve income was very popular. But at that time, even people had to eat rice mixed with potatoes and millet. So broken rice and bran to feed pigs were not easy to find. Therefore, many people came up with the idea of cutting water taro, chopping it up, mixing it with bran to cook porridge to feed pigs in the ratio of 1 part bran to 9 parts water taro. Of course, pigs raised in this way grow very slowly, sometimes not even reaching 100 kilograms in a year, but in return, their meat is more fragrant and delicious than pigs raised on industrial feed today. Despite its humble status, water taro also contributes 2 specialties to the cuisine of the West: water taro pickles and eel porridge cooked with taro. To make water taro pickles, after being cut, the taro is washed and dried in the sun until wilted. Then it is cut into small pieces about a few finger lengths long and soaked in salt water overnight. The next morning, it is kneaded, squeezed, and rinsed continuously until the taro stems are completely free of resin. This step must be done very carefully because if even a little bit of taro resin remains, the whole batch of pickles will definitely have to be thrown away. When the taro stems are completely free of resin, they will be put into a jar. Then rice water mixed with diluted salt will be poured in and pressed tightly. After just a few days, the melon will be ripe, giving off a fragrant aroma. Watermelon can be used to make soup or braised fish. When it is tight, just a plate of sour, crunchy melon with a bowl of fish sauce and chili peppers next to a steaming pot of rice is enough for growing children to eat until the pot is broken, floating in the basket. As for the eel porridge with taro, there are many different versions, variations depending on the region. However, the basic ingredients to cook this dish are still eel and water taro stems. The eel is cleaned, cut into pieces or left whole as desired. The taro stems are cut into pieces, soaked in salt water for a few hours, then rinsed with cold water. Taken out and drained. No need to dry in the sun or need to remove the resin like when making pickles. After the rice grains in the pot have expanded, people put the eel in, season with spices. The stage of adding taro leaves to the porridge pot requires the cook to keep the fire really high. Reducing the heat will cause the taro leaves to secrete and cause itching, and stir evenly until the taro is well cooked. Eel porridge with taro water has a very special aroma, stimulating the taste buds. In addition to being a delicious dish, according to Oriental medicine, eel porridge with taro water also has the effect of eliminating toxins accumulated in the body, so it should be eaten at least once a year. Nowadays, very few people know how to cook eel porridge with taro leaves, so this dish hardly appears on the menu of restaurants and eateries. Only when you visit a village and are lucky enough to meet a hospitable Mrs. Ba or Mrs. Bay will you have the opportunity to enjoy this famous porridge again. Even though the aesthetic and nutritional value is not much, Southern people still like to enjoy dishes made from taro because it contains the aroma of the countryside, carrying the kind hearts of poor rural women. Simple dishes made from taro have been ingrained in the hearts of every child living far away from home for generations, and no matter where they go, they always carry an unforgettable nostalgia in their hearts.